Hello, welcome to Things Zone. In this full video, you'll learn all about Tilemaps and Tilesets in Aseprite, how to create, use, and export them. We'll start from scratch until we're ready. If you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel. So, let's get started. Before you start working, you need to understand the difference between a tile set and a tile map. A tile set is basically an image containing all the pieces you'll use to build your levels. They're like tiles, or blocks, organized on a single sheet. And the tile map is where you use those pieces. It's like a map where you place each tile in the tile set to create your scene. Here, I'll show you first a tile set, and now a tile map made with that tile set. Let's start with something simple and basic to get started. Today we're going to convert a normal layer into a tile map, which is the type of layer Aseprite needs to work with tiles. There are two ways to do this. The first is the fastest. Simply right-click on the layer you want to convert, go to Convert to, and select Tile Map. And that's it. You can now start using that layer as a tile map without doing anything else. The second way is from the top menu. Go to the Layer tab, click Convert to, and again choose Tile Map. Both options do exactly the same thing, so you can use whichever one is most comfortable for you. It's good to know both methods, because depending on your workflow or if you use shortcuts a lot, one may be faster than the other. Let us know in the comments if you prefer to do everything with clicks or if you prefer to use keyboard shortcuts or the menu at the top. Once this is done, the layer is ready to start working with tiles, painting, organizing, and taking advantage of all the tools Aseprite provides to work with tile maps efficiently. A super common mistake when we start working with tile maps is this. You draw your tiles, convert the layer, and suddenly they're all cut off or misaligned. Why does this happen? Because the tiles aren't aligned to the grid. Aseprite requires each tile to be perfectly positioned within a cell for the tile map to work properly. To fix this, the first thing you need to do is activate the grid. To do this, go to the top menu, select View, and then click Show Grid. Also, make sure the grid is the correct size. In my case, I use 16 by 16, but it may be different depending on the project you're working on. Once the grid is visible and the dimensions are correct, select each tile and arrange them correctly, one by one, within each grid cell. When you're done, simply convert the layer back to a tile map. And now it's perfect. This step is key to making sure everything works well later on, especially when you start using the tile editor or want to create reusable tile sets without errors. Once you've converted your layer into a tile map, there's a tip that can help you work more comfortably while organizing your tiles. You can click on any tile you've already placed and move it. This way, you can reorganize the design however you want, without having to erase or redraw from scratch. This is very useful, especially when you're adjusting map details or trying out different layouts. Now, be careful. If you ever create a new layer, but it's a normal layer, something strange might happen. Suddenly, your tiles disappear or stop displaying correctly. Why does this happen? Because that new layer isn't a tile map, and Aseprite can't handle tiles the way they should on a normal layer. The solution is super simple. Instead of creating a new layer from scratch, what you do is duplicate an existing tile map layer. Then, rename it to stay organized. For example, you could call one base and the other details, and that's it. That way, you maintain the correct structure, you can work in layers, and you don't break anything in your project. Now I'm going to show you how to edit tiles after converting the layer to a tile map. This is key because Aseprite has 3 different modes for working with tiles. Each behaves differently, and using them well can save you a lot of time. The first icon uses the tiles as you created them. In this mode, you can move, rotate, copy, and place them wherever you want. But there's one important limitation. You can't edit them directly or create new ones from them. The second icon is the most flexible of all. In this mode, you can edit tiles directly. For example, if you change a detail in an existing one, Aseprite automatically creates a new tile. You can also erase, paint over, and adjust things freely. It's ideal for making quick modifications or last-minute adjustments. The third icon is a middle ground. It doesn't allow you to modify an existing tile, but you can draw something different, and Aseprite interprets it as a new, separate tile, without touching the original. Knowing which mode you're working in is key and will save you a lot of headaches when you start building more complex scenes or reusing tiles in different places. Now I'll show you how to use everything we've seen with a quick example. On the base layer, I build the background using water and sand tiles. This is the first thing I place to have a solid foundation to work from. Then, on the detail layer, I start adding an island, the edges of the coast, and some rocks. This gives it more life and makes the scene look more natural and complete. I do everything using the Tilemap modes I showed you earlier, depending on what I need to modify or add. With a good tile set, you can build complete scenes in a very short time and with great order. You can also use external images as tiles, either in .png or .jpg format. This is useful if you already have a tile set created in another program or downloaded from the internet. In my case, I'm going to use a texture image. The first thing I do is drag it directly into Aseprite. Once it opens, I check that it's in RGB mode, as that's the mode Aseprite needs to work properly with imported images. If the image opens as a locked background, right-click on the layer and select Convert to Layer. This will allow you to edit it without any problems. Sometimes the image already comes as an editable layer, but if not, it's important to know how to unlock it. After that, I activate the grid to decide how I'm going to cut the tiles. I first try a 16 by 16 grid, but notice that it doesn't fit the image layout well. So I change it to 32 by 32, and it fits much better there. Once the grid is set, I right-click on the layer and convert it to a tile map. And that's it. You can now use that image as if it were a tile set within the program, with all the features Aseprite offers for working with tiles. Once you have your tile map assembled and everything ready, let's export the tile set. To do this, go to the File tab, select Export from the menu, and then click Tileset. A window will open with several options. You can choose how the tile set is organized, whether you want to add dividers between tiles, adjust the size of each cell, or even define the order in which the tiles are exported. Take a moment to review these options carefully, because depending on the game engine you're using, some settings may be more useful than others. Once you've configured everything the way you want it, click Export Sprite Sheet. Then, as always, choose the location where you want to save the file, give it a name, and click the Export button. And that's it. Now you have your final tile set prepared and ready to use in any game engine or project you're working on. If you found the video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the channel. More tutorials like this are coming soon to keep you learning. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.